Okay, so this is actually 1 out of 5. I know it says photography 1 out of 6. I somehow got the math wrong actually. Anyways, it's 1 out of 5. I'm gonna try to keep these a little bit shorter and so you can get through these faster. This unit is going to be over photography. This is a very fun, everybody loves photography. I do at least. And this particular piece that we're looking at, Muybridge, his work is showing kind of ended a debate a lot of people were having whether or not horses' feet were completely off the ground. And from these photographs, you can tell that they are. Pretty cool, right? Just so that you know, photograph comes from the Greek photo, P-H-O means light, and graphos, G-R-A-P-H-O-S, means writing. So literally, writing with light. Pretty cool. So this is just an advertisement for a film. So we're going to be talking about in this presentation the history of photography and also film, because photography begins film as well. And again, just talking about the Greek photos means light and graphs means writing. This is a black and white photograph done in 1936. Basically, it captures an everyday aspect of American visual reality. Pretty much, this is the photographic equivalent of Sears Roebuck catalog of the day, to capture a moment in time accurately. So it is interesting to see what the clothing that they're wearing, how the kids are actually working. It's a little shop. It has, just that time period. So photography is perfect for capturing the moment. Okay, so this was a drawing engraving done in 1544 of a camera obscura. So they didn't have a photographer at the time. I mean, they didn't have cameras at that point. The word camera in Latin actually means room. 16th century, a darkened room called a camera obscura. That's what we're looking at right now. The scientific principles are the same as cameras we use today. Small hole on the side of a light-tight room emits a ray of light that projects as seen upside down directly across from the hole onto a transparent white screen. The image itself could not be preserved. What they would do is trace it and then turn it around, and then they would have a very accurate image. So we're starting to see the history or the developments that leads to our current photography. This is Talbert's 1839. What he did was, it's called a photographic drawing. He fixed a negative image on a paper coated with light-sensitive chemicals. This is an English development. So basically, he coated a piece of paper with these light-sensitive chemicals, and then he actually put the leaf down over it, flashed it with light, and then fixed it, and that's what you're getting. You're getting the negative. Okay, and this is another process developed by the artist or the photographer himself. It's called a daguerreotype. It was developed in France. It's a completely different process, which yields a positive image on a polished metal plate. Public loved it. It allowed middle and working class to have a portrait. And of course, it's black and white and there is no color. I like how you have a lot more detail in the foreground, and as it goes into the background, it gets more blurry, just like atmospheric perspective when we talked about creating depth. So before, the common person was not able to get a photograph of themselves. They would have to have it painted. So this new technique, the daguerreotype, really kind of warmed people up to the idea of photography. Okay, and this piece, it's a photographic portrait, became a very successful industry. You could buy one for yourself for 15 francs. Okay, Beard, this photographer, opened a British portrait studio. He had a great sense of showmanship. He would isolate the customer and prim and make them beautiful, and then show them into their where they were going to be shot for the photo. So of course, wouldn't you love that? So in this piece, I want you to take a moment and think to yourself, or I'll probably have you write this down on your paper. Describe how texture is developed in this piece. How is it different from a print, for instance? So Talbot here, the open door, he uses a different type of chemical photography. It's called the calotype, C-A-L-O-T-Y-P-E, calotype. It used a negative image so multiple copies could be made, unlike the daguerreotype, which only one copy was made, no negative. So this is looking much more like real photography. If you've ever worked with negatives, you can make several prints from one negative. Okay, Margaret here, she is doing a portrait of Thomas Carman, 1863. It's yet another development in photography called wet plate Collodion, Collodion. It was invented in 1850 by Frankfurt Archer, and it was adopted within 5 years. The darkroom, you poured the liquid Collodion over glass plate bathed in a solution of silver nitrate, exposed and developed in 15 minutes. The artist, the photographer, was the wife of a highly placed British civil servant. She convinced almost everyone she knew to pose for her. The blurred features slightly, she believed this technique drew attention away from the mere physical appearance and revealed more of the sitter's inner character. Okay, in this photo, a Harvest of Death, the two photographers staged the bodies to create the most drama. If you can only imagine walking around and moving dead bodies around to get the most dramatic effect, just is a little mind-boggling. This was 1866. It's a portrait of war. In the photo, both foreground and background are purposely blurred to draw attention to the central corpse. Okay, why could the photographer want to focus on one central figure?